Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of RPGs with Paddy. I'm Paddy. So, in today's video, we will be continuing with session 6 of the new Game Master month. And after a bit of a rules heavy session the last time, we're going to take it a little bit easier here, but flexing a different, more creative muscle. So, we will be using our imagination today. Alright, let's head over to the website. So basically, it is up to you how much detail you want to put into your game and how much you want to prepare for it. It's always good to find the right balance between not preparing too much and obviously taking too much time and not being completely unprepared and scrambling at every question the players ask. So the website gives us 4 key areas we should have prepared for encounters. Some of these are not necessary. So the first one, a map, if the lay of the land matters. So often I find that it's not that essential. I usually play theater of the mind most of the time. Second one is the names of the important NPCs, the non-player characters involved, and maybe some notes on their appearance, personality, attitude, and their reactions to the characters. Number 3 is the game stats for any creature or NPCs the characters are likely to go up against. Whether this is in a fight, you want to know their combat stats, or in another contest, for example, an interpersonal skill, you might want to know what their persuade or deceive or perception skills are as well. And finally, the mechanisms and difficulties of any traps or environmental challenges present. There are also handouts that are specifically made to be given to the players. For Midnight Sub Rosa, for Trail of Cthulhu, the invitation to the academic salon is an example of this. For A Rough Landing, the RuneQuest scenario, I don't think there is anything specifically meant to be given to the players. We do get a map of the North Market, but I don't think there's anything we're supposed to show to the players, apart from the map of Johnstown, the city itself, maybe. Similarly, in The Taker of Sorrow, for Numenera, there are no handouts to give to the players. So for this session, we don't need to worry about those handouts, but apart from in Trail of Cthulhu a little bit. But in general, it's a good idea to have those prepared as well. Now we move on to one of the most important parts about running a game, which is how the GM, the Game Master, presents the world and the people or the creatures in it. You already have some stats and names, and sometimes even attitudes written in the published scenario, but you will flesh it out. So the material for this session is really creative, so I'm going to leave it to you rather than you listening to my creative ideas. It's good for you to flesh it out the way you want to do it. So I'll just briefly read through the task, but try to think about these points for yourself. Now, for Trail of Cthulhu, the game is already set more or less in a world that we know, although it is in the past, and of course it has some supernatural elements. So the players can already imagine what it's like to a certain extent. But for you, it's a good idea to take an imaginary walk through the scenario and think about what the town and the boarding house, etc., look like. Where the GM shines in Trail of Cthulhu and equally Call of Cthulhu games is bringing the non-player characters, the NPCs, to life. So think about the different characters you'll have to play, including the ghouls. What are they like? So close your eyes and try to picture them. What do they look like? How do they act? How do they talk? Do they have any kind of unique tick or trait? And how about their voice or accent? So this game is set in Rosa, Alabama, but the academics could be coming from anywhere, so you can include any kind of accents that you want. You don't have to include accents, but if you can, it's always good fun, and it also, you kind of putting yourself out there encourages the players to maybe invest a little bit more as well. One very important piece of advice here that I completely agree with is never letting the players get a good look at the ghouls. I describe parts of it, a claw smashing through a window, teeth gleaming in the moonlight, hoof prints in the dirt, a fearful stench, but never put everything together. Never let the players be sure if there's one monster or 10 out there. And I would also add to that, and I've said it before, don't use the word ghoul. just describe it and have it as some unnamed horror. Because in this world, the characters shouldn't know what a ghoul is. So it's just some weird monster with rubbery skin and claws kind of attacking them. So, after learning a fair few rules in the previous entry, we now switch over to the much more creative side. So, really enjoy making this town and the characters here your own, and you will present a great, unique game for your players. Don't worry, there's no right or wrong answer. I personally, I wouldn't worry too much about being super historically accurate as well. But some groups really focus. If you've got a lot of historians in your group, maybe take the time for that. Other than that, don't worry too much about small mistakes. So that's all for this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.